Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, we're going to take a look at the elusive Atlas Comics, the Scorpion #1. But before we do that, I want to remind you, I have my comics available out there from Amazon and other online booksellers. Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology, and my new one, Bizarre Brain Comics Presents Heroes. This is the one that has, some various more mainstream stuff, some superheroes, western, some horror stuff, some unusual science fiction stuff. $7.99. You can get them both on Amazon or Barnes and Noble online stores, and I've seen it available on other online sellers. So, if you want to do me a favor and get you a copy, if you haven't already, or maybe just do yourself a favor, because you might enjoy the stories if you're a comic fan. And thanks to everyone out there who has already got theirs. Now, here we go. The Scorpion. Atlas Comics, 1975. That's Atlas Seaboard Comics, to distinguish it from Atlas that became, from the 50s, that became Marvel. The Scorpion ran for 3 issues in 75. It was created by, as written and drawn by Howard Chaykin. He did the first 2 issues, and issue 2 was inked by Bernie Wrightson, Mike Kaluta, and Walt Simonson and Ed Davis. And lacking the control he wanted of his character, Chaykin quit, and the 3rd issue was a total revamp of the character. He had, and in that version, he had a traditional superhero costume, and that 3rd one was by Gabriel Levy and Jim Craig. Chaykin then later returned to Marvel Comics and used his Scorpion character as the basis for Dominic Fortune, which had some slightly better success than the Scorpion did. At least he's better known, I think. But for all intents and purposes, it's the same character. Okay, now, Howard Chaykin. Okay, you can look at this, and you can see, of course, his style really beginning to develop here, quite a bit from his earlier work on Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser and War of the Worlds that he did several years before. And it is developing into the style that he is better known for today. And he seems to be a big fan of the pulp era, in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. As he has used that, of course, in here. Is set in the 30s, and and then, of course, later Dominic Fortune was basically the same character. And you can see a lot of the stuff from here that was later used in his science fiction storyline of that he's best known for, probably, as of American Flag from the 80s. A lot of that cool retro look, but it's very pulpy. This story could have just been pulled right from one of the pulp magazines. It's kind of modeled after that. So, and of course, yeah, this nice Chaykin cover. I used to have, and maybe I still do, and just haven't seen it, is issue 2 as well. But here I have issue 1 and issue 3. Gives us some nice contrast. And here it starts right off, and we get to see this is kind of compressed because they have a lot of information put in a short span. So this one page gives you the general idea. This guy who becomes known as the Scorpion is apparently, for no known reason, an immortal. It shows him here at various historical periods under different guises until we get hit to this here in the 30s when he is the Scorpion and his name is Morrow Frost, and that's him right here. And it's got the splash page here, but it's just introducing us to the character, while here is the story beginning. And some really nice work on the architecture, art, and especially on the period aircraft that we see here. This transport plane looks like a Ford Trimotor, and it's over Manhattan, and kablooey, something happens, kablooey, and the plane comes crashing down into the streets. And it just happens to be that the Scorpion is right there and witnessed it. And it was a transport aircraft. There's the owner right there, and he says, "Hey, aren't you the Scorpion?" You know, yeah. I said, and because he's kind of like a private troubleshooter, I guess you could call him. And this is Roger Boyle. He was the owner. He said he needs some help, and so he hires Scorpion. Said, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow at the airfield," because someone is trying to destroy his business, and this is like the third plane of his that's gone down under mysterious circumstances and with killing his pilot. So here, then we see another airplane coming in for a landing at a beach, and we see someone talking to the guy. Pilots get out, and they're talking about, this is a guy who hired them because he wants to take over this freight business, and they've got some kind of weird gizmo. It's science fiction-y, so it's like right out of the pulps. Emits some kind of beam or ray that will kill the pilots and kill the engines, so they're trying to run him the guy out of business. Next day, says, "Oh, okay." At their meeting, gets his big retainer, and Scorpion sends his assistant / secretary, whatever, to some of the seedy sides to try to see if she can find any information, while he goes up in a plane and shadows, trying to be secret about it, shadows another transport plane. And it's a good thing he does, because then another plane comes up, and just as you see is trying to do its little attack, he attacks. The Scorpion strikes. Air battle. And these people can't fight back. You know, "Oh, I can't get a beat on him." Here we have an ad for a bunch of the Atlas titles. And except for the Western and the one with the lady, I had some of all of those way back when. Meanwhile, the lady she's been overhearing stuff, and she got a little bit, but don't know what. And these goons jump her. But the Scorpion is right there for the rescue, and knocks these guys out and gets a little bit of info from them regarding this other guy, the big bad who has hired the goons. Meanwhile, that very guy, they're going to the pilots come dripping because they got they survived their plane crash, and they're all angry, very angry. Says, we didn't know about taking on the Scorpion. We lost our plane and we lost our gun. So we're going to, okay, I'll just pay you. And well, he was going to say, I'll pay you what you're owed, and then we'll all skip town. But he was secretly reaching for a gun, and blam blam, they took care of him. So they don't have a boss anymore. They're basically freelancers now. And so they're going to they try something. And then pretty soon the girl, I've forgotten her name, Miss Bishop, yeah, the Scorpion's assistant, gets a call, says, no, Scorpion's not here, and it's a call from their client, Mr. Boyle. And they say, I gotta see you right now for some info for the Scorpion. She goes to see him, and it turns out those two goons have him at gunpoint, and they forced him to make the call because they wanted to get their grubby mitts on her. So she, meanwhile, he calls his own home, trying to get a hold of the Scorpion, that is. Calls his own home, trying to talk to Miss Bishop. Well, the butler says she left and had to go see their client about a half hour ago. Uh-oh, trouble. He goes to the airfield because they said he went to the airfield. And then there he is, and they've got a trap set up for him, or she is tied up to the propeller of an engine on a test stand in the hangar. It says, okay, get rid of your gun, or we're going to kill her. And then they have the engine set. You've got so many minutes, couple of minutes, because this engine's set on a timer, and it's going to start up. So you got to get through us. So he throws his own gun away because it was empty after killing their boss. And then fight, hand to hand, or hand against axe. Oh, and he takes out one guy completely, knocks him out. But the other guy gets away, but he has to stop to prevent that test stand engine from starting up. Saves the girl, while the last bad guy starts to get away. Well, his partner's coming after him too, but he just hits him with the propeller, because he's not gonna wait for his buddy. And Scorpion gets on his motorcycle and vroom, chasing him down while he's trying to take off, and then uses a car for a ramp. Boom, gets airborne, and just as that plane airborne, wham wham, blam 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 blam, takes out the engine of that plane, and it crashes in a ball of fire. Kabooba! Saves the client, saves the girl, and the bad guys are all toast. And that was a thrilling, action-packed, a lot of stuff compressed in a short span of time for the Scorpion. But I think it was well crafted. I mean, that story probably should have been like 2 issues, but you're talking 75, brand new publisher. They're not going to want to do that. So, and I don't remember anything about the story from the second issue. But then when you get issue 3, completely different creative team, and it's essentially a different character. Now it's set in the present. They don't come right out and tell you this, but it's strongly inferred that it is the same character, but now he is using a different name, and Harper, what was his name? Yeah, and it shows the supposed death of Merle Frost, but there was during World War II, but no body was ever found. And then but he is essentially the same character here, this new character here, and it's of course set in the present. In this case, 1975. He is a newspaper publisher, and he's a lot like the Green Hornet, except for the costume. You know, starts off with Jewish rabbi being snatched by some neo-Nazis, and their villain, and this is what he looks like, the Scorpion, Knight of the Golden Fuhrer. And I'm not going to go into the story too much. Just But you can see the art style is completely different, more modern. This is relatively early in the professional career of Jim Craig. He later did a lot more stuff, and then of course these Nazis wanted him to raise from the dead these preserved bodies of these Nazi leaders from World War II. But this, just like as he had created a golem in Prague during World War II, but using his daughter as a bargaining chip, he had to do it. Well, he goes through the motions, but actually turns out he had the golem in his basement. He raises the golem, and then Scorpion and Golem fight. Then Golem voicelessly lets him know what he's up to, and because the daughter works for him at the newspaper, and so he's up against these Nazis and trying to save everyone, up against the Golden Fuhrer. Then the Golem smashes in and really cleans house. And if you ask me, the Golem was the hero in this story, not not so much the Scorpion. And I think both versions of the Scorpion had their possibilities. I have to say I like the Howard Chaykin version better, but the other version, and that's the only issue they had with that version of the Scorpion. And I would have enjoyed reading more of both versions. They probably didn't have the legs for a continuous run for any length of time, but it would have been nice to have seen a little bit more. So that is all I've got for you this time. I had someone commenting before asking for more Atlas, and I've been wanting to do more Atlas for a long time, so I'm almost out of Atlas, I think, except for Iron Jaw. So that's it. I hope you like this. Oh, bad timing there. Hope you like this version of the Scorpion. Please like, share, and subscribe. And do leave your comments. What you think of the Scorpion? Which version might you prefer? Are you familiar with Dominic Fortune, for example? Or the other works of Howard Chaykin? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.